All right. Name is David Kim from Lakewood, California, and I bought some digital posters. I've been following Drive Prime Driven for since 2022, believe it or not. And I've been loving every single drop. The first time I heard about Prime Driven was actually through Instagram, my Instagram post. I was looking at cars and such, and you know, through many the endless reels and whatnot, I finally found Prime Driven, and I've been following ever since. Normally, I don't because it's a fairly new industry that kind of started to become popular. That there's a lot of skepticism around it, but after seeing so many people winning and such, that I decided to take a chance. Opedia 130, 175 was a big draw to me compared to a lot of my all-time favorite JDM cars because it's accessible. I mean, it's practical for me. I can get in and out easy. I'm an older guy and a bigger guy, so getting in and out of those JDMs are kind of like a thing of the past. So once I was able to see the first SUV, I believe, that was obviously wicked with 500 horsepower. Who doesn't want that? I decided to enter. I was like, hey, I'll take a chance. This is my moment. When you dropped the Key truck, I was like, oh man, I want one of those. But I was like, man, I don't want to be like, looking like what's that one animated movie, Incredibles? Yeah, I didn't want one of those moments where he's driving that little car and he's just like, well, I grew up around the import night days. You know what I mean? Big, huge EK fan, EG fans. Just Honda in general. I love the Silvias, the GTRs. That's what I grew up on. You can call me pretty much like a Gran Turismo 2 kid. You know what I mean? Because that's essentially what brought me to cars right there. That game, spending hundreds and hundreds of hours, just doing this, doing that, critiquing this, critiquing that, and then obviously import nights was a big deal in my youth. So that's what pretty much got me into JDMs. Never really been a Euro guy, but I could always appreciate the Euro crowds. But there's just something about the JDMs that are just that just kicks ass. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are big on all-wheel drives, and this the Cayenne's all-wheel drive. That's cool. And I driven the Subaru that's all-wheel drive, and I have to say is like I kind of want to go back. But front wheel, something about front wheel drive and just a naturally aspirated Japanese motor is just music to my ears. A lot of people like loud muscle cars and stuff like that, but I like that high revving, high pitch, rotary motors. You got the B18s and the was it the VQ motors and such. It's just something about those high revving Japanese cars. I just like it's music to my ears, man. I can also appreciate a Euro V8 twin turbo too, because I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching a lot of videos ever since you guys dropped the Cayenne. I've been watching a lot of videos about it, getting to learn it, and that's gonna be music to my ears too. Waking up, I'm sorry neighbors, that cold start's gonna be brutal, but sucks for you. Type R, Type R, period. The Sylvias is always going to be a soft spot for me because that momentarily everybody's on drift, initial D, blah blah blah. But yeah, man, that's expensive to have to do. But for a pure aspect, a Type R. And I think a while back, like I think in the hundreds or something giveaways, there was a newer Type R. But I was like, oh man, I didn't take the chance. I should have taken a chance. But that doesn't mean like the future I won't take another chance and drive table. But Type R is going to be my all-time favorite, just because it's iconic. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite cars is the EK Civic hatchback. Not the coupes. Coupes are cool, but hatchback is where's that? But there's something about the front-wheel drives that are, that's just more fun than a rear-wheel drive car. Yeah, fishtailing here, drifting here, cool. There's something about a light car and like a time trial run. You know what I mean? Chasing as fast as you can go. cutting these corners. But the Type R is my all-time favorite, and it will always be. It goes back to when I was having a EK hatchback, B16, and they're cool. Didn't have B18 money yet, but it's just something about that, Yeah, that's horsepower, but it's just an absolute blast to drive. I don't care what anybody says. Revving to 7, 8, 9,000 is just another experience in life. I don't think you ever have put a hatchback yet. Maybe a championship white EK hatchback Type R. Just an idea. But yeah, that's my all-time favorite right there. Don't need to do anything else. Don't need a turbo or anything. I'm not drag racing or anything like that. Hitting those curves and whatnot. It's just another feeling, man. That's just everything else doesn't matter, man. It's just you in a car with no AC. Well, I mean, on vacation, sleeping in. I mean, who doesn't do that, right? Waking up to a text, and I was like, huh. Let me investigate this a little bit, right? And then, just reading my emails, clearing out my email box, and then I was like, huh, another email about it. So then, I did some tracing, some investigatory work, and found that everything led back to PrimeDriven. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and email Eric back and say like, hey, I'm awake, I'm real. And then, once I received a reply back, I was like, okay, this is real. So then I had to pause for a little bit and kind of just soak everything out because, I never really won anything in my life. So I'm like, huh. So then, I talked to my friends about it and whatnot. I was like, hey, you think I should reply or keep on replying? He's like, nah, that's fake. It's fake. No, it's fake. It's spam. Don't send your information. I was like, you know what? You guys suck. I'm just going to go ahead and just keep on replying and see what happens. And then, we proceeded to go back and forth, text, emails, and such like that. And I was like, okay, this is real. Like, he has my info. Like, he knows what I bought. He's tracking me. Damn it. It's already too late. Let me go ahead and commit. And committed. I'm still, like I say, cloud nine. I don't even know how to process this really. But here we are. I'm doing the interview. Everything seems to be good so far. I mean, but like I said, I was skeptical of the whole process because I didn't know how it went about. A lot of the other winners are kind of like quiet. So I'm like, huh. And usually when something big happens like this, I want to share. I was like, hey, PrimeDriven, where's that? It's legit. Believe it or not, I had a cousin that actually won from another one. But, that was like back in 2014. I was like, huh. Back when it wasn't such a craze, like everyone else is doing it. And, he didn't really say much about it either. I was like, I don't know, man. Still kind of skeptical about that. And I was like, did he really win? I didn't really dig into it. It's none of my business. But, here, back in 2025, we're starting off like, the first quarter of the year. Here I am sitting in the winner's circle. But that's the whole process. Like, it seemed, it seems ingenuine, but like, just sitting here with a Zoom call is like, this is really happening, I'm excited that, just to win something. And just to win something from someone, a company that I followed and appreciate every single drop. I might get my knees worked on so I can get in one of those JDM cars. Hopefully a championship white EK. Since I have nothing to hide, I'm going to pick up my cousin and we're going to go to some barbecue. Celeberry barbecue. Somewhere real nice. Because, me and my cousin Marvin, we're close. We like to go eat. So we're going to take a drive. It's a barbecue joint. It's not Texas. I'll tell you that. Texas has the best barbecue. I'm not going to lie. I'll give them that. But it's, I'll find somewhere nice, somewhere we haven't tried that won't charge us $300-400 just to eat. But that's the plan. He's stoked. I'm stoked. Looking forward to the next road trip that we take with each other. Tell you the truth, I went to Texas mainly to try their barbecue. Central Texas is where I'm at. Apparently, there's 4 different styles of barbecue down there. But Central Texas is where it's at. I don't know what they do with their cattle, but I'm not going to question it. Keep on doing it. You just gotta take the chance, brothers and sisters. You just have to take the chance and have a leap of faith, like I did. I bought some digital posters because y'all don't care my size. But you just gotta enter, man. You don't if you don't take the chance, you're not gonna have a risk. No chance, no risk, right? There's plenty of other companies that does the same thing that multiply this, multiply that, but are you really, you're just inflating the numbers. And you know like I said, I've been following since 2022, and I finally took that chance for a car that is practical for me. And here I am in a winner circle, among with many others that and counting that took that chance. It's like playing the lotto, hopes and dreams. But if you don't play, you don't get a chance. So just do it. Whether it's digital poster, shirt, or some detailing kits or some accessories, you just gotta take that chance and hope for the best. I plan on continuing taking that chance here. They have my information now, so I'll be good to go next time.